PYP learners of 5A standing before you to share our learnings of a personal inquiry sharing the planet on the great occasion of the exhibition. So first is introduce you to our inquiry. So our central idea is perspectives influence sustainable coexistence, which means that different point of views can affect how the world works. Our first line of inquiry is exploring coexistence, which means that in this inquiry we have explored the problem and what is coexistence. For your information, coexistence is the peace and harmony between different creatures or species. Our second line of inquiry is evolving human needs require sustainable solutions. This inquiry means that different human needs that are evolving over time would need different types of solutions, and we need to get more sustainable ones. Our third line of inquiry is responsible resolutions ensure peace and survival, in which we have learned about solutions, and with different solutions ensure that we can have peace. So first, let's introduce you to our group. My name is Inaara. I am intelligent and thoughtful. I often notice details that people overlook.
My name is Paul. I am open-minded and really like to take action.
My name is Rian. I am knowledgeable and intellectual, and through this PYPS journey, I have developed my communication skills.
My name is Vihan, and I'm a creative thinker and a hands-on activist, as I'm good in making models and accept challenges.
So, before we really dive into what are inequalities, I would like to explain what is SDG 10 and why we chose it. SDG 10 on Sustainable Development Goals are goals set by the UN in 2015 to be achieved by 2030. These goals aim to create a better and more peaceful world. SDG number 10 is reduce inequalities. It focuses on reducing inequalities and giving fair chances. We chose this SDG because we feel that nobody should be left out and everybody should get equal opportunities.
So first, let's start exploring our first line of inquiry. Exploring coexistence, the problem.
Inequalities, a colossal disaster. So inequalities are the uneven or unfair chances given to people or communities throughout the globe. And there are many different aspects to them too, like social inequalities, economic inequalities, and political inequalities, which we will be exploring through our journey. Now, can I ask if anybody knows why inequality is a problem and it's impacting our world?
It reduces the opportunities, the fair chance to opportunities for every individual. So finally, we don't have effective executioners at every level, which we could have if everybody has a fair chance.
Exactly, I agree with your answer. And these inequalities will be explored through our journey.
Okay, so I would like to compare inequalities between the past and the present. In the past, inequalities started with the agricultural revolution, where civilizations were formed, and with civilizations came a hierarchy. One of the earliest examples is the Code of Hammurabi, in which it was stated, which is the code of ancient Mesopotamia. In that code, it was stated that there were three classes: slaves, commoners, and nobles. Slaves being the lowest and nobles being the highest. There was also a difference in gender, as the eye of a commoner man alone was worth 60 silver shekels, but the life of a commoner woman was worth only 30. And there was also a pay gap between how much men and women received in Silas of life.
Okay, now if we were talking about pay gap, I want to know about economic inequalities. So, I'll be telling you that. So, economic inequality refers to the uneven distribution of money, wealth, income, or budget. This is okay. So, wealth inequality is the inequalities where people get judged based upon how rich or poor they are. Second of all, income inequalities. Income inequalities are the inequalities upon how much you get paid or even how you get paid. Last but not least, consumption inequalities. Consumption inequalities are the inequalities where you get judged based upon how much money you spend or how high of a budget you have. Now, let's talk about an organization which works for this. The World Bank, an international organization. The World Bank has 189 member countries and it is responsible for the economic status and development of different countries throughout the world. And it even provides loans and money to the least or lowest developing countries throughout the globe.
So now I'll be talking about political inequalities and will be giving an example of India and Pakistan. Political inequalities are when different countries have unequal opportunities or resources. Now that we've got political inequalities cleared out of the way, I'll be giving examples of some countries who face political inequalities severely in today's day. Afghanistan, Gaza and Pakistan. These are the most severe cases in today, as Afghanistan and Gaza face unequal resources and Pakistan faces unequal opportunities. Now I'll be giving an example of India and Pakistan. As shared earlier, Pakistan has unequal opportunities. In today's day, India doesn't face that much political inequalities and is gaining veto power over some countries. But now, if I take you 100 years back to when the constitution was formed, we can see India had the most severe case of political inequalities. As when people were scared to speak up to the British, it caused unequal opportunities and British took all the food and resources for themselves, which led many Indians to die.
Now let's move to the third type of inequalities, social inequalities. Social inequalities are the inequalities that occur between different people or communities in the form of exclusion, racism or discrimination. And an organization fighting for this is the UN Women, especially in the field of gender equality, in which it fights for the girls and empowers the girls who were too scared to stand up or the ones who were shut down whenever saying that there were inequalities. This organization was founded in July 2010 and we can even see it with evidence that it has increased the gender equality in many countries. As in 2010, it was around 58% of women being equal to men. But by now, in early 2026, it is around 69%.
Wow, such a big difference, right?
Now let's move to another type of diversities people have, neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is when a human mind functions differently than the other human minds, which is natural for all, since everyone has a different thinking style. But many cases of neurodiversity include autism, ADHD, dyslexia, or DHD, which is a mix of both, or just normal human minds. Autism is when a kid has increased focus but has heightened or lessened sensitivity to things that activate the senses, for example, light or sound. But ADHD is the opposite. ADHD is when a person struggles to focus on different things or do activities that require focusing, concentrating, sitting still, or memory. But most people think that this means that these people are not like us and that they need to be treated differently, which is not the case, since everyone is equal and we should respect that.
So Inaara just shared her knowledge about neurodiversity. But do you all want to know what is the biggest type of diversity? The biggest type of diversity is a diversity between animals and humans. So now I'll be talking about the good and well-being of the animal, which is animal welfare. Animal welfare, for example, does many good deeds. For example, vaccinating animals, so like dogs and cats, so when you get bit by them, if you get bit by them, it reduces the chance of rabies. How many of you have pets at home? None of you. But still, even though some people have animals at home, you can imagine if you had a pet at home, halfway across the country, that same pet is being killed for its leather, skin and fur. So every time you wear a dress that has any animal skin, you need to remember, the animal did not make a sacrifice. You took its life.
let's start exploring our second line of inquiry. Evolving human needs require sustainable solutions. Actions taken in the past, effects of inequalities and causes.
So, I would like to be diving into the past and showing the names of the important figures who took action towards our SDG. One name that I must mention is that of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born in South Africa, born and raised in South Africa, where he faced severe inequalities. He fought for equal rights no matter what his personal cost was, and was jailed for all the wrong reasons. He kept on trying, and eventually he became first black president of South Africa. Another name is that of Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther was born in the southern states of America, where he faced many inequalities as they were labor states. He took action and gave speeches to change the way people thought about it. And one of his most successful campaigns was one of his first. You see, in the southern parts of America, back then blacks had to stand up and give whites their seats, even if the blacks were sickly or injured. Then Martin Luther took action and organized a boycott of the buses, so that and it was one of his most successful campaigns. And when the boycott day came around, the bus was totally empty. Martin Luther also gave the famous speech, "I Have a Dream," which talked about his dream of creating an equal world for all.
Okay, so Riyan just went global, but let us go back to our roots. India. Bhagat Puran Singh was a famous humanitarian who walked the streets of Amritsar for 80 years with a brass bell and collection box, and asked for donations to help the sick and needy. Later on in his life, he established the Pingalwada charity, where you can still donate today to help the sick and needy. Bhagat Puran Singh is a true example, and has truly imbibed the caring profile, and is a true example of putting others before yourself.
Now let's move to the effects. Since as you have seen, there are many types of inequalities in the world. But have you ever wondered what happens to the people who have experienced them? Well, I'll share it to you. There are many forms of inequalities in the world, people have taken a toll on their mental health since they have been affected, and they feel like they don't matter, that they don't deserve anything, or that no one cares for them, which is not the case. And this mental toll on people's bodies is real, because many people have gotten disorders like this, like depression, anxiety, or PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which gives you trauma, or disorders where you start using drugs. Now there's real evidence of this as well, since there are many reports about suicide rates in India, with mostly reasons being inequalities, especially results from the NCRB, which is National Crime Records Bureau. And the thing is that most of these suicides are done in the age of 15 to 29 years old. And these are the latest results from 2019 to 2023, which is alarming since the suicide rates have been more than 1.4 lakh. And now India is starting to become the country conducting the most suicides and having the most inequalities in the world as per 2026. Now let's go to explore LOI 3. Responsible resolutions ensure peace and survival. Solutions, our local connections and our group actions.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to be giving solutions of how we can work towards SDG 10. Working towards SDG 10 requires not a person, not a family, not a community, but everybody. The government needs to take action. We as a community need to follow in the government's footsteps and take our own action as well. The government has already made studying in government schools until 5th grade free, which prevents economic inequalities, and they can take more by putting laws against inequalities. We as people need to stop discriminating against certain people such as the LGBTQI+.
Now that you know that we have so much knowledge about SDG 10, what action have we really took? Okay, let's dive into it. So our action started with when we collaborated with Mansi ma'am as she gave us ideas of what action we could take to serve our school community better. Then we respectfully took Jasbir ma'am's advice and started our journey. First of all, we ran an inclusion week where we made children aware about inclusion and exclusion around them. Wait, do you guys know what inclusion and exclusion is? Okay, I'm here to tell you. So inclusion is when you show coexistence and unity and include everyone. And exclusion is the complete opposite. Yes, our second action. We took action as we set up an appreciation wall for students to appreciate parents, teachers, friends, or even pets for what they've done for the students. As we have witnessed that many people do not thank didis or their parents after they serve them food. Last but not least, we distributed books from our school library and made students aware about their surroundings and the inequalities around them.
Okay, first we went global, then we went to a specific country, then a specific state, then a specific city. But now we're going to a specific place. Now I'll be talking about how first steps you can use it. First of all, peer checks. Map makes us check each other's works to see if we can assess ourselves and our peers accordingly to the PYP grid. Equal turns to everyone in games class. We have freedom in games class, such as other children, if we do not want to play Coco, for example, they can enjoy briefly while the others are playing Coco. Group tasks to everyone. Every once in a while, we get group tasks. And this is the really big group tasks that are presenting, the exhibition, the year group tasks. Equal turns to everyone in class. The bare minimum is just that you have to raise your hand and you'll get a turn. We respect everyone no matter who it is. Chima sir thought of this, and even in the first line of our pledge, there is this only. We learn everyone is different and why it's fun. Everyone is unique, no matter their caste, creed, religion. Yeah.
Trans-ethnic connections lie at the heart of PYPX, and being IB learners, of course, we connected our STs with the other subjects. First of all, we connected with sciences by learning how by neurodiversity everyone is different by how they think or how they speak. We connected to the languages by learning the diversity in languages, how it brings beauty to this world. We connected to mathematics by using our data handling skills to show and analyze data better. And we connected to social studies by learning that everybody is equal no matter where they are from, and also by diving into the past and learning about important figures.
Since I was talking about Mansi ma'am, as she helped us in getting ideas of what action we could take to serve our school community, there were more mentors who gave us ideas. Okay, first of all, Mansi ma'am. Of course, she helped us in getting ideas for action to serve our school community. Second of all, SDG 3 group. They gave us an idea of adding a mental slide adding a slide of where we track down the mental issues happening to people after they face inequalities. Third of all, Shimpi ma'am. She helped us in understanding social inequalities in Hindi. Fourth, Kamaljeet ma'am and Tamanna ma'am. They helped us in getting ideas for our transdisciplinary connections and more ideas for our actions. Last but not least, Gurpreet ma'am and Disha. They helped us in the art integration and the posters as we use them in our appreciation wall, as you can see outside.
These are our evidences. As you can see, we have done lots of research on everything that we have told you about.
Please continue. Sorry.
Now to conclude our journey, we would like to share a self-composed poem with you all, our SG10 self-composed poem. It all and we all could start to thrive. I chose SDG 10, Reduced Inequalities. This was something new for me. I learned about many people's experiences like this. I decided I wanted to help people experience true bliss. The problems of bullying, racism, this and all that. Did you know it's actually really common to get called too fit or too fat? I understood the meaning and found organizations for this. UN Women, ILO, there's actually a bit. Then I focused on the impact of it to mental health, and also came our fifth inquiry of loving yourself. We found out problems, solutions and personalities for this. The SDGs are not things to dismiss. In conclusion, SDG 10 is in fact important to us all. United we stand, divided we fall.